All right, so I'm going to do today some of my favorite stretches. So before I stretch, you should always warm up. So don't just go into your big stretches with being cold. You want to warm up the muscles that you're going to stretch. And then you're going to feel better. Your muscles are going to thank you for it because they're not going to be under such duress when they're stretching out. And you're going to get a better stretch. You're going to be able to get into that pose a little bit more, so a little bit not intense, but yeah, just making it a little bit easier. All right, kick those heels up. So we're just warming up nice and easy. So a way different warm up than we do when we're going to be doing our cardio or strength workout. Okay, so we're just moving the body, warming up the muscles that we're going to stretch. So these are just a few of my favorite things, ones that you can do every day as well. I have no idea how long this is going to take me because normally what I'll do is a stretch of some sort, and I just do for as long as I have time for it. So if I have 5 minutes, I stretch for 5 minutes. If I have 20 minutes, I'll stretch for 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to move my body. I have a feeling it's going to be about the 20 to 30 minute mark, okay, by the time we get through everything. So I'm just going to do my hips now. So if you follow along with me, you know that my right side is a little tense and tight. So it really goes down my whole body, and that's the way our bodies work. You know, we tend to have an area that is bothersome, and then it just kind of moves because we need to move our body to get it going, and it kind of moves with us, right? So a little bit into my hip then. So I'm just doing some hip circles here, and we're going to be doing those on the floor as well. All right, let's reach up, stretching out our lats, the muscles that run down the sides of our back, our obliques, getting those shoulders, range of motion in the shoulders. And keep moving here. Good, and then let's push it across. So all you need today is a mat. And like I said, this is something you can do 10 minutes of, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. I have a lot, let's come up on that toe again. I'm warming up the back with this one, and this one's really important to do. So I have lots of stretches that you can do. Okay, you just have to, if you're in my online group, you're gonna get one every week. Let's open up our hips instead of doing the high knees. And I have a few just for public view, and then I have some that I do privately for clients. So lots of different stretches, but if you're in my online group, you would get one every single week. Okay, get those knees up and out. Oh, that feels good. All right, so the other thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to bounce. Okay, so I'm not really leaving the mat at all, but just bouncing, warming up the body, and I am warming up. I'm going to take my sweater off now. So you may notice athletes doing this before their race, or swimmers before their swim meet or what have you, but bouncing, getting the blood flowing, and you don't need to even leave the ground if you don't want to do that. You can just bring those knees up, shake that body. So tapping as well, okay, tapping your body. That's another way getting the body going. And lots of people will do tapping very lightly on their face and on their chest as part of a meditation or ritual. All right, super. I think we're good to go now. What about, how are you feeling? All right, so we're just going to start with some full body moves here. So take a nice deep cleanse. So I'm on my mat. I'm a little bit forward. Maybe I'll come back a little bit just so you can see me better. And we're going to take a nice deep cleansing breath. And exhale. Coming down. Inhale up. And exhale. Coming back down. And up. And exhale. Coming back down. This last one, you're going to inhale up. And then I just want you to hinge over at the hips and let your hands drop down. Now, I'm feeling pretty tight in the back of the legs, so I'm not going to push it too far with this one. I'm just going to let my hands and my body hang. And rocking side to side and getting in that body, just kind of moving, relaxing. And coming on up nice and easy to tabletop, and just hold it here for a moment at tabletop. And arms out wide, bring them into your chest and bending the knees slightly. A little bit of a turn here, careful this one. Make sure that your back is okay with this. Don't turn very much. And other side. And back to center. Nice big cleansing breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Let's fold over again and exhale. Okay, if you can, you could go a little bit deeper. I'm putting my fingers underneath my toes. Not that far though. I'm still quite tight in the back of the body today. And then inhale, take those hands to the front. Bring the left foot forward, hands parallel, and then right leg back. And just sink into this pose. Sorry, you can't see me very good here. And so you're just parallel, leg, hands, and then just let your body sink into this pose. Knee off the floor. If that's uncomfortable, drop that knee down. Sink down into this pose. Good. And then just hinge back and point that toe up. And then push those hips back, feel the stretch down the leg. So really getting into the hips with this one. And back of the legs, back of the body, lower back with this whole pose, with this whole set. Drop that left foot down again. Bring those hands parallel. And then I just want you to bring that right foot forward. Big inhale here. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. Once more up. Hinging over. Exhale. Hold it here for a second. Now that left leg's going to go back. Okay, right leg, hands are parallel, and sink into that pose. Keeping that knee up if you want, or dropping it down. Okay, entirely up to you. Sinking into that pose. What feels best for you? Okay, what is your body like? Here or dropping right down? Maybe that's hard on the knees, so you might not want to drop right down. But you are now, and then you're going to hinge back, point that toe up again. I'm going to rearrange my camera here in a second because we're going to be going down on the floor. Point that toe up. Feel the stretch down the back of the leg. Good. All right, drop that right foot down and then bring that left foot up to the top of your mat. Big inhale and exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale, dropping down and sinking into that pose. Okay, hold that pose for a few seconds. I'm just going to rearrange my rearrange my camera so you can see me a little better. Okay, so I was coming out of that pose now. And I want hands on the mat. Take those feet all the way back into a high plank. Hold that high plank for a second, nice and strong here. And then slowly drop to the knees. All right, so we're in kind of a tabletop position here. We're just going to start moving the hips. So you're going to go into some circles here, push those hips back, and just get those hips moving. Go one way, then we're going to go the other way. So I had to have a little bit of a giggle today because I was on social media and I was watching, or I was looking at a video of a fitness influencer, I guess I'll say. I don't know. Anyways, I really like her videos. So she actually had it behind the scenes and I laughed because she had cameramen and lighting and several cameramen. And I'm here in my dining room with my ring light and my puppy dog that usually runs past, but he hasn't been. All right, let's get into a child's pose. So knees are about hip width apart, okay? And just stretch it out. Don't go too low. You know what? Child's poses feel so good. Sometimes we get a little bit too far into them. Just stretch it out and then come on up and keeping your hips nice and strong here. You don't want to sag that back down. You want to keep them so that they're nice and in line with the spine. And this is just a great one to do. Push those hips back. Diane, you're watching, I know, because I made this video especially for you because we were talking about the stretching, and I know how much you love this one. You said you were doing it all the time that your back was bothering you, and it just really kept yourself moving and keeping that back moving, even though it was a little sore. Okay, but it's a good one to do, just as long as you're gentle with it. Walk your hands over to the left side, and you're going to push those hips back. You're going to feel stretched down the right side. And then you can come up and back. Okay, come up and back. So a little bit, stretching out more of that right side, even into that right hip. Okay, and then walk your hands over to the right side, and then you're going to get a little bit more into the left, so you can hold it for as long as you want, or come up and back down again. Up and down. And then back to center, and we're going to do a thread the needle. So bring that arm under, stretch it out, hold it for a second or two, come back up. Bring that arm under, and back up. And again. So any of these, if they're feeling really good for you, just keep doing them. You can pause what I'm doing here and just continue with what feels good for your body. Stretch it out. All right, let's come on up into tabletop, and we're just going to do cat and cow. So chin up, push your back up to the ceiling, chin up, and push your back up to the ceiling. All right, so we're going to take our left foot, bring that forward, and we're just going to lean into it. So we're kind of stretching out that hip flexor. Bring that arm up, stretch it out. Good. And then you're going to hinge back and point that toe up. I kind of have my mat on a little bit of angle here. I was hoping that you could really see a lot better. Reach out, stretch it up, and then hinge back down again. Point that toe up. We're going to do 3 of these on each side. And up, so stretching up, fingertips all the way down, lean into it, feel that stretch all the way down the body, right into the knee. And then hinge back, point that toe up, and let's switch sides, and lean into it, reaching up. Oh boy, that feels good. This one can be done standing as well. If we have enough time, I'll do it standing as well, maybe just one set. And point that toe up. Oh boy, so very tight. And again, reach, stretch it up, and hinge back. Point that toe up. Good. One more time, reaching up. So as you can see, when I stretch, I only hold for a few seconds and then I release. I really feel our body, that's the way our body should be stretched. We want to feel the stretch, but we want it to come back into where it's comfortable as well. And I find if I'm holding for too long, it just really stresses out my my body. Okay, let me just try to rearrange here a little bit. There we go. So we're gonna be on one knee. Now if you're on a hard surface, you might wanna roll that up a little bit. And so we're just gonna get that leg out to the side. So I've really opened up my hip here. Okay, and we're just gonna hinge into it and back. So lean into it and back. Now let's bring that arm up and back. So I got right leg out, and then I'm leaning into it, bringing that left arm up and back, and up and back. All right, taking that left hand, putting it down in front, reaching up with the right, and you're leaning and just kind of really settling into that pose. So feeling opening up here in the hips and that inner thigh. And just sink into that. Good. All right, bring that right foot forward. And we're just going to sink into this one. We're kind of stretching out here, the Achilles. So and just hinge into it, keeping that foot flat on the floor. So I'm just going to turn so you can see a little bit better. So just let that foot stay flat on the floor. Lean into it so you are into more the knee. Careful you're not putting too much pressure, but you're feeling the stretch right here, okay? So the Achilles up into the heel, right up into that calf muscle. And then what I'm going to get you to do is hinge back a little bit and then just turn that foot out and then turn that foot in and do the same thing. Just come right into it and then forward again. Okay. All right, let's do the other side. So I have my left leg out, and once again, we're just going to rock back and forth. So we've opened up those hips. Okay, so rocking back and forth. And we're going to get that arm up and back. Arm up and back. So here's the other thing. You maybe caught me looking at my watch. The reason I am is because my son's downstairs and he's got to go to school in a few minutes. So I always try to make sure I'm done before he comes up, or I'll pause. Right arm down and reach up. And again, if you know, and I'm hinging into this, leaning into this, if you know my household and the way I operate, is you guys get to see everything that happens. Dogs barking. Usually, he kind of missed the garbage truck. It just went by my dog, so he's usually quite interested in that. Okay, I've turned a little bit differently now so you can see. We're just going to let our body sink in. Stretch out that calf muscle. And then we're going to bring it to the outside and just stretch it out. So you're feeling the stretch here, a little bit in the knee, up into the knee area as well with that little bit of a turn. So you want to be careful that you're getting the stretch, but not putting too much pressure on the knee. Okay, so you really want to make sure you're getting in here. So when you're doing that, you want to keep that heel down so the pressure is more into the heel. Stretch it out. Good. All right, a little bit more into the hips now. So I'm going to get you to come down and sit on your butt. And we're going to have our feet out in front and just hinge or just back onto our hands. And you're just going to let your feet are about hip width apart. And you're just going to let your knees flop from side to side. And just, oh goodness, this feels good. Now, some days I can do this if my hips aren't too tight, but you can actually do this without leaning back, okay? And one side, and then the other. But that's entirely up to you, okay? You don't have to. If this feels good, stay with this. Okay, here, put one side to the other. Let's add on to this now. Okay, so when you come over, you're gonna come right up and reach up to the ceiling. So let's do that again. So left knee comes down, and then I'm going to curl my right toes under and reach it up. And then I'm going to go to the other side. Right knee comes down, and then I'm going to reach it up and come back down. Over to the other side. And back down. And back down. Let's do one more on each side. I kind of like to do the same things in threes. Doesn't always happen, but good. How are you feeling? Are those hips feeling a little better? What about the shoulders? You know, after our child's pose. All right, bring that leg in, point that toe up. So it brings me back to that woman that I was watching today. And like I said, she's fantastic. I really like her videos and stuff. But yeah, it's just funny because then they were like going along and she fumbled with her words or something like that. And they're like, cut, cut. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Because I definitely don't do that. All right, so speaking of fumbling with your words, you're going to point the toe up. Feel that stretch down the back of the leg. And hinge over the hip. Okay, try not to roll over. I want you really just to bring that chest forward and feel the stretching through the lower back. Switching sides. So opening up the hip, getting that knee down as far as possible, bringing that toe up and hinging over. Oh, that feels wonderful. All right, let's come on over and we're gonna come on up into downward dog. Press those heels into the floor and feel that stretch. Take a little walk here. Push those heels down into the floor, stretching out. And then walk your hands to your toes and come on up nice and slow. And you can't see me right now. Just start doing some shoulder rotations while I change my camera here, camera angle a little bit. What's wrong with me? Cut, change camera angle. All right, nice. So shrug the shoulders down and back. Good. And then let's just do some shoulder work. So we're going to shrug the shoulders up. Palms are going to face back. Shrug the shoulders back. Open up that chest. Palms are going to face forward. So forward and back. And forward and back. Good. And then we're going to take our palms. We're going to place them just on the top of our tailbone and bring those shoulders in and then squeeze them back. Shoulders come forward. Squeeze them back. These are awesome. If you're sitting at a desk all day, you want to do some chest openers and getting that back activated. Our backs from sitting so much need to get activated again. Okay? All right, shoulders down and back. Let's bring the hands right around by your ears, but you're not going to put them behind your head. You want them here. And then you're just going to bring those elbows together and then stretch them out. And elbows together and stretch it out. Good. So as you can see, you could jump in at any time with this workout or with this stretch. I'm not going to call it really a workout. You could jump in any time and back. All right, shrug the shoulders down and back. We're going to do a standing Superman. So reach up to the ceiling, bring your hands down, and then just squeeze those shoulder blades together. Okay, so I'm going to turn my back to you now so you can see the back side. Reach up, pull those hands down, and squeeze. Okay, so nice and gentle here. Reach up, arms come down, squeeze. down. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Good. All right, so that's a good one to do if you're sitting at your desk and you need a little bit of a break. Okay, reach up, right up onto the toe, right up onto the toe. Stretch it out. How are you feeling? Is that feeling a little bit better? One side, then the other. Good. Once more on each side. Come back. Reach up. Come back. All right. Let's hang on to our wrists, and you're just going to a little bit of a cold. Stretch it out, and then the other side. Stretch it out. Good. Shrug those shoulders down and back. Link those fingers together. Here's another good one. So you can stand up at your desk and just start doing these standing ones. And come back up. Oh, I was going to show you the hip flexor. So you can stand and do this one. Remember the one we were on our knee? So you can stand and do this one and reach it up. And then come back and point that toe up. So this is another really good one you can do at your desk. Let's do the other side. And hinge, or you're really kind of getting right into that pose because you want to stretch this hip out. And then stretch it up. And then hinge back. And feel that stretch down the back of the leg. Here's another one you can do, hinging over at the hip. And then walk those hands over to the right side. Take that left hand, bring it around that right calf. Now you can stay in this position. If your back allows it, reach up with that right hand. Walk your hands over to the left side, reach around. Reach up if your back is okay with that, and then come back to center. Roll up nice and slow. All right, super. Those are some of my favorite stretches. So you could do all of them and follow along with me. Or if you find one that's really working well for you, pause me, stay there, work it through for a bit, and then start again. Take 5 minutes to stretch, 10, 15, or I think we're probably about 25 to 30 minutes here. Nice big cleansing breath. Palms together and exhale. Have a fantastic day, and I hope that feels good for your body.